in a row with at least a 3 out of 5 on the scale somewhere in the country. Current temperatures, they're in the 30s. That's where we get out the door to start the day today. Later on, these will warm. A couple of 20s on there showing up in our western counties. You can see York at 27 right now. Winds will be light, though. It's part of the reason why the temperature's fallen off. The winds are light, cooler air settling a little lower in the atmosphere. And as we head into the afternoon, those winds won't be all that strong either. So that's great news there. It makes it a little more enjoyable. High clouds out there to start. Notice they struggled to fill in this morning. So by lunchtime, we're up in the upper 40s. By noon, or into the afternoon, I should say, we're up to about 54 by 3 o'clock. And at 5, about 56 for the high. High temperature happened around 4 or 5 o'clock. Won't be completely cloudy. We'll call it partly to mostly cloudy. By 7 o'clock, those numbers starting to fall back a little bit. And then overnight tonight, you can see the clouds do thicken up more heading towards tomorrow morning. There are some showers off to the west there, and that's primarily where they're going to stay tonight. Small chance for our Nebraska counties, but more rain potential on Friday. Should move out pretty early on Saturday. The north winds kick in. We go near 50 there. Nothing all that warm, though, heading into the weekend. Average highs right around 60 degrees, so we're going to be a little shy of that heading into the weekend.
We sure are. Okay, you mentioned a rain chance on Friday. How much rain are we talking?
Thankfully, it doesn't look all that widespread. So what I'm going to show you here is probably the model that has the most rain, just to give you a little idea of what the high end could be. And I doubt it's even going to be all this widespread. So if you get rain Friday afternoon and evening, at best odds, it will not be steady. It will not be all that heavy, but maybe an inch or a tenth or two of an inch would be the most you would see out of this. Now, like I said, this is the model that has the most. I'm skeptical it's even going to fill in this much, so don't bank on a ton of rain from this. Just know it's going to be cloudy on Friday, and you cannot be surprised by a spotty shower Friday afternoon and Friday evening. I just don't think it's going to be a washout, just more a nuisance. If you got practices, if you have games, you're sitting out there, I don't think it's going to wash you out, but when it's 50s, not much of a breeze, it does look like it's going to be not incredibly enjoyable on Friday. Then chilly on Saturday, up to 57 on Sunday. Another chilly day to start the week, but we go from 40s to start the week up into the 70s by next weekend. So it gets better and better and better. This weekend will probably be about 20 degrees cooler than next weekend, the way things are setting up right now.
Have something to look forward to. A
lot of good numbers there, and not much rain to worry about beyond that little bit on Friday.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, it's going to update on traffic. Already some delays on I-80.
Yeah, and it's construction tied. We've kind of got some new lane restrictions. We're working in some new construction through the day today. So let's start with where we're at right now, and that includes a lane restriction on the ramp as you're going from westbound I-80 to 144th, and there's the result of that. You can see traffic backed up all the way onto the interstate, and you look at the distance here, you can even see that it's starting to slow down there, even as you're getting somewhat close to this area. So watch for that. You can see how if you're staying to the left, you're having more success if you are going through this area. That's a good strategy, but watch for that traffic that's starting to back up. That lane restriction, just the start of what's going to be heading in this area, because we are going to be looking at new construction in general that causes lane restrictions. Both directions impacted on I-80 between Q and 144th. And this is a long-term project. It goes all the way into the fall. So it starts today. As far as on the actual interstate, we don't have more information as far as the exact timing of when this starts today. So watch for that being something that you'll contend with. I would imagine it would be right after the morning commute that this starts, but we don't have confirmation on that. So just be prepared for that in that area. You can see the delays as you're approaching that exit at this point. Some other construction tied delays. You've got 168th and Dodge, where you're seeing all the ramps with some slowdowns, with some lane restrictions. That includes as you're going from westbound Dodge to 168th. Similar case at 180th, where you have a lane restriction in place, where you need to merge right as you're getting towards there. So construction is kind of becoming the problem for a lot of where we're seeing delays, and that also includes 480, that we've had that ongoing situation as you're trying to go from Council Bluffs into Omaha. It's a bit of orange peeking out behind the H on the Omaha there. So that's the biggest culprit that we have, and it's going to be, all those are kind of long-term projects, so those are just going to be some areas you're going to need to adjust your time for what you need here over the next couple of months.
It is construction season, right?
Here we go, full dive in.
Buckle up, folks.
Yes.
Jared, thanks. Well, the race to the Omaha general election is on. While the mayoral matchup is set, the two city council races still really close to call. There are hundreds of ballots still to be counted. There are enough uncounted votes to change who finishes second and third in the District 2 primary.
And the District 4 primary. We'll get the results from the remaining ballots tomorrow. We wanted to see the impact money played in Tuesday's primary. In the mayoral race, incumbent Gene Stothert received the most votes and spent the most, nearly $800,000 through March 17th. Well, John Ewing received nearly 22,000 votes. His campaign spent $124,000. Mike McDonald did not advance despite spending $100,000 more than Ewing.
In this low turnout election, most of the people that are coming out in the primary are either pretty committed Democrats or they're pretty committed Republicans. The Republicans have a long history of voting for Gene. They have a pretty high opinion of Gene. The Democrats have a longtime, well-respected office holder in John Ewing. McDonald didn't have any natural partisan constituency. He probably overperformed in light of that challenge.
Experts do expect a much larger turnout for the general.
Now to the First Alert 6 safety desk with Maria Cade. Maria, you have some information about the new study regarding gender-affirming hormone therapy.
Yeah, the researchers say that this therapy might actually help with mental health for the patients who are going through it. So it's finding that transgender, non-binary, and gender-diverse patients who were given hormones had a 15% lower risk of developing moderate to severe depression. Now, the study analyzed data from nearly 4,000 patients from 2 health centers in Boston and New York. The researchers measured patients' symptoms over 4 years, and they were compared to people who were not prescribed the hormones. Now, overall, most doctors say that the hormone therapy is safe and effective. Of course, they're continuing to do more research on this as time goes on.
All right, moving on to some other more health information. You have some treatment options for people who deal with epilepsy.
Yeah, a lot
very
of people.
serious.
Absolutely. And right now, many of those treatment options are really invasive. So this is a new option for people that they're looking into. So it can involve major surgery, those invasive options, including the removal of the area of the brain that is causing those seizures. Now, nearly 3 million U.S. adults have it, and for about 1/3 of those patients, the medication does not stop those sudden seizures. So during this new process, cells are injected over time so that they can become part of the brain and then hopefully help repair it. Now, it's still very early in those clinical trials, but the research is focused right now on safety and efficiency. The good news, though, researchers are saying that it's already providing some hope.
If this one goes through and it's positive and it helps patients, I think it opens up things for the future for these other disease processes too.
Now, the Mayo Clinic in Florida is also having another clinical trial for severe epileptic patients. In that study, the scientists are working with deep brain stimulation and special stem cells as well.
Hopefully some progress to be made.
Absolutely. Well, it's always encouraging to hear the work that they're doing too.
All right, Maria, thanks. All right, back here after this.
Welcome back, everybody. This time yesterday, it was gray, it was damp. What a difference a day makes. We love to see that. Let's check in with Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. We should enjoy the sunshine while we can, right?
Yeah, the clouds will gradually fill in today. Still a pretty good day, but yeah, not much sun on the way tomorrow. So that's beautiful out there.
So
Enjoy
nice to
what
see.
we have. And it's going to warm us up fairly quickly this morning. We have 30s out there right now, but again, another beautiful look at that sunrise with some high clouds trying to move in. 35, a little bit of a northwest breeze, feels like 28. So yeah, the air's got a little bite to it when you factor in the wind. There's the high clouds trying to stream in, but they're thicker down to the south. So there's rain just south of Kansas City. Severe weather lining up right along the boundary with the colder air trying to stream in. It's going to be another active round of severe weather the next few days to the south. We're going to be in the 30s to start, 50s this afternoon. We're on the cooler side of things, but still able to warm a little bit, and then only falling down to around 40 to start off tomorrow morning. So light north winds. That's the key today. You don't have to worry about the wind knocking you over, blowing around trash cans, or just making it feel colder. That will be much better, making for a much more enjoyable day. And as you go pick up the kids from school, should be in the mid-50s, that light breeze. Again, more clouds this afternoon than what we have in the morning hours is the best way to look at it. There is the chance of some rain tomorrow. Therefore, the car wash forecast is a bit risky. It might be tough to keep it clean beyond today, but let's get a look at the showers. And this is worst case scenario. Best odds are afternoon and evening with the rain chances on Friday. And this is the model that has the most coverage with the rain in the area. So I doubt it's this widespread, but I just want to show you the high end of the possibilities. Most of us will see a lot less than this, and I think it's going to be pretty spotty in the afternoon and evening. But again, you could have some stray showers moving through from time to time with temperatures topping out at 52 during the day, then should fall back into the 40s for the evening hours. And then overnight, at one final batch of rain would try to move through, and then that would slide out very early on Saturday. We go to 50 for the high on Saturday. You got a cold morning Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. Sunday and Tuesday morning both try to get a little bit colder to the point where we could freeze up any garden hoses or any water lines that are above ground.
Yeah, don't want that.
Nope.
In the meantime, better chance for 70s on the way?
I tell you what, you look longer range, everything is trending mild and a little drier. So this might be the last chance of rain we have for a little while. There's another one to watch middle of next week where we could have a couple of showers. Doesn't look like a ton, and you can see upper 60s to near 70 by next weekend. You can see how nice the numbers are trending, and you look even beyond that, the 8 to 14 day outlook. Again, we go 10-day forecast here. This goes just a little bit farther. It can show you where the odds are leaning warmer than average over a good chunk of the country and likely trending drier than average. So as you can see, there weren't many rain chances to be found next week, and that's probably going to be the case for the week beyond. It doesn't mean we won't get rain, but it'll just be less probably than we usually see.
Okay, looking forward to those 70s.
I know, it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Windows open, people getting out and walking around will be a good time.
Sure will. All right, Russ. In the meantime, we have more construction to talk about on the roads.
That's what everyone wants to hear about, right?
Yep.
How about a zone that should have been wrapped up that is still causing
Yeah,
issues?
tell us.
Yeah, here's where we're talking about. This is coming eastbound. This was at least scheduled to wrap up yesterday, and notice that trail of yellow in the lead up as you're going eastbound. That's delays that extend quite a ways off to the west there as you're approaching that area right around 29th to 30th where that lane closure had been in place. So we're still seeing impacts as a result of that, and we can show you even a little bit more. It goes to back to about 38th where you're seeing the congestion. So watch for that as you're heading through that area. We briefly mentioned this one a little bit ago, but we've still had some off and on give and take as far as how bad the delays have been going over the 480 bridge over the Missouri River. Right now, it's not as bad as it was about 5 minutes ago. I do expect that kind of goes back to being a bigger issue here in a little bit. Then in non-construction related news, we've had some delays on the JFK, seen some improvement here over the last 10 minutes or so. You can see the ramp itself to go to westbound I-80 is showing some delays though, so be prepared for that. We may see as the next wave of commuters gets into that area, things start to back up again. A little bit of the first signs of some delays eastbound on Dodge around 144th, and then continue to watch that area on I-80 as you're approaching the 144th ramp. I do think that could be an issue for anyone who's trying to go through through that area. Remember the ramp with a lane that is blocked off as you're exiting from westbound I-80 to go to 144th. There's what southwest Iowa looks like. I accidentally clicked the map, but hey, if you were wondering, it's looking pretty good on I-29, I-80, several of our routes, 34, 59, you're in great shape, and that's the case for many of our commuters this morning for areas I didn't touch on.
Okay, I'd like to see the green. Jared, thanks. Well, the woman accused of stabbing and killing a man in Bellevue must stay in jail.
Now, Josephine Baker faces several charges, including second-degree murder. Earlier this week, police found 43-year-old Jeffrey Hettinger dead with multiple stab wounds. Police detained Baker at the scene. Now, there have been 3 homicides in Bellevue so far this year. Before this, there had only been 3 since 2021. Police tell us these incidents have been isolated and the timing coincidental.
These homicides that occurred this year, the 3, they knew each other. These weren't random acts. These aren't, people don't have to worry about someone randomly coming up and causing problems.
Now, Baker is due back in court next month. After weeks of delay, a resolution for a downtown Omaha nightclub with a troubled history.
Crush Ultra Lounge agreed to voluntarily give up their liquor license starting April 15th. The club was previously known as the Throwback Arcade Lounge. Now, since last April, police have been called to Crush 16 times, including for a shooting. Councilman Denny Bugley says that sending officers there, that often adds up.
I don't have the total on it, but it's a substantial amount to taxpayers. And when people are in the old market, other areas, and you're concentrating all of your manpower on this one area, it gets to be a challenge for spreading our officers thin.
Now, we are waiting to hear back from Crush regarding whether or not they plan to continue to operate the club after the 15th, and if so, what that's going to look like. Well, happening today, a former Husker football player will be laid to rest. David Noonan very sadly died after a head-on crash in Cass County. The crash happened just south of the small village of Elmwood. Cass County investigators say that Noonan swerved into an oncoming semi and died upon impact. There will be a mass and a burial service at St. Bellarmine Catholic Church. That service starts at 10:30. Just devastating news.
Well, coming up, a family photo shoot with a surprise appearance.
Plus, we'll tell you about a fun First Alert 6 outing when we come back.
Well, a family in D.C. was hoping to get some good shots with the cherry blossoms in bloom.
They're so stunning every single year. Well, they definitely did get that, though, at a surprise appearance by a famous face. Portia Moore and her family ended up going earlier than planned. The last-minute change led to the surprise of a lifetime. Portia was focused on getting that perfect shot of her 2 kids, Belle and Preston. As they were snapping away, her husband noticed a pretty familiar face. It was former President Barack Obama just casually walking around along the tidal basin.
The husband's like, wait a minute, wait. So the photo, as you can imagine, quickly went viral. Portia says it's now a family heirloom. I can see that. Obama reposted the picture to his Instagram story with the caption, "Preston, Belle, I hope you enjoyed Peak Bloom. My bad for stepping into the shot.
I don't know if they minded that much.
Oh, not at all. What an unexpected gift, right? To get a present in your picture.
Yeah.
You know how you go and you take several shots to make sure you got the right one.
Yeah.
You keep every one of those, I think, with it.
Oh, well, and I can see how the mom didn't notice him at first if she's so focused on getting the kids to stand still, stay there. So good on the husband for seeing him in the background.
That's cool. All right, a shout out to Luigi's Italian restaurant in Bellevue. Our entire morning crew, for the most part, visited them yesterday for lunch. And there is the picture of the crew. Man, didn't we have a good time?
We had a great time.
There's Rusty.
That was so fun.
So here's the thing, guys. And this is why commercials work. So every morning during our show, the Luigi's commercial airs just about every morning, and it looks so good. And we're all like, we have got to go. And so finally, we made the decision to go, and it did not disappoint.
We wake up so early, you know. By then we're like 3 or 4 hours into the workday, and we were starting to get hungry.
We're like, that looks good. That looks good.
Yeah, so it was tempting to try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But, so we each kind of got our unique different things, and I think it went pretty well for.
And we took a field trip.
Yeah.
And we met Luigi-ish, right, Maria?
Yeah. The mascot of Luigi.
And we had some nice cannolis as well. So very fun, very fun. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in today's show. Of course, you can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
All right, have a great start to your Thursday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. Some breaking traffic news to get to this morning. We've got to check in with Jared.
Yeah, big crash here. This is Highway 370 in Wickersham, so you're right about at I-80, and you can see the big delays that are showing up as a result of this. Let me show you the crash itself, and you can see it's a very busy scene. You've got traffic that is really delayed. You've got emergency crews that are trying to make their way in, and a lot of blocked lanes here. This is an area you're going to want to avoid here in the short term. You can access I-80 if you maybe make your way toward Gretna. You can access from that way. I would try to avoid this area of 370 right near I-80. We'll keep you posted with the latest as developments keep coming in with this. Rusty.
Thanks, Jared. And yeah, out there you got some sunlight. Might even deal with sun glare on your drive in. You can see how bright it is as you look off towards the east. So there's some high clouds trying to move in and get in the way of this. But overall, we're going to start with sunshine, temperatures in the mid-30s. A little bit of a northwest breeze, not bad. So this is the chilly start. There's the high clouds trying to move in, thicker clouds down to the south with some showers. That's where most of that's going to stay today, but gradually we'll get a few more clouds moving in. Models suggest maybe a few wind gusts this morning up near 15 miles per hour, but usually a little overdone in the morning. The afternoon hours, they will calm off considerably, and if they even spike later on this morning. So with that, we'll take 30s and lower 40s around 9 o'clock, warm up into the 50s today. I think we can muster about 56 or so for that afternoon high with much lighter wind. Aaron?
2 city council primary races are still too close to call. Officials tell us there are enough uncounted votes in these races to change who finishes second, who gets third. Top 2 move on to the general. We'll get the results from the remaining ballots tomorrow.
It is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in 25 minutes. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody.